Hi, I'm Austin Eartham.
And I'm Taylor Patton. Welcome to Kitchen Table Podcast.
So we motivate, educate, and relate to you guys, sharing our stories, helping you get 1% better in all areas of your life. Welcome to episode number 78.1, 1440 on self-assessing. Taylor is currently being our technology guy as we go. Oh, you got to make us see us better. Okay.
A little bit.
Anyways, on Tuesday, what did we talk about?
Self-assessment.
Self-assessment. We all took performance assessments and we aced them. We're basically the best performers and podcasters that you have ever met. Just kidding. We got lots to work on.
Yeah.
But we did talk about self-assessing in April and also the first half of the year. Also, I'm reevaluating my goals next week, so we'll catch up on that. But self-assessing every day is good, especially if you're putting in that action, because then you should be getting better. The whole podcast, we have talked about getting 1% better.
Yeah.
Right? Our logo is a 1% sign with a little up and down stock market arrow, right? So everybody knows that I like the book, well, on Twitter, and I like the book called Do Hard Things.
Okay.
So I followed the author of that book, who is basically a sports psychologist. His name is Steve Magnus. Okay, and this is what he tweeted the other day about on 4/23/23. He said, getting better or making progress isn't similar to getting 1% better every day or compound interest.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a wild ride, lots of ups and downs, sometimes dramatic, but you stay in it long enough and consistently invest in the basics, you will win.
Mm-hmm.
I understand both are very useful strategies, useful analogies, but I often see the eager to improve get lost because plateaus, dips, regressions, etc. are frequent in the road to getting better at just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
We need a realistic view of what progress looks like. It's messy.
Yes.
Another way to put this, striving to get 1% better every day is great. As long as you realize you aren't going to get 1% better every day and might get much worse before you get better. Now, Austin Eartham, on the other hand, had some stuff to say about that, because I believe you can get 1% better every day, even though it's messy. I do agree that it's messy. So I responded to him, of course. So I said,
I had this pulled up.
well, they're both on my phone. I should have, you're right, but I didn't plan that very good.
That's all right. Well,
right here.
There.
So I replied to this man.
What'd you say?
And I said, I would say it's about how you define getting 1% better. I agree, it's like the stock market, not compound interest, but sometimes getting 1% better doesn't show right away. So I said 2 examples. Number 1, having tough conversation at work. I wanted to give a work example and a sports example. Having a tough conversation at work with a boss or employee and having to change the ways about going about the business. Right? So say sales are down. You gotta change the way business is going. You gotta revamp something, whether it's marketing or a product or whatever, right? If you got a bad product, you might have to do recalls on it, whatever. Sales may drop for a bit, but the company is still getting 1% better because you're improving over time and in the long run, as he mentioned.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Then I also said the second example is athletes training wears on their body, and they tend to have a drop in performance, but as they adapt and recover, they get stronger and in the end will perform better. Like the markets, but also making decisions each day to get 1% better, knowing longevity of success requires ups and downs. That's what we're going to talk about next week, by the way, is longevity of success. Because I got a lot to talk about on that. I've been writing PowerPoints on it. So what do you think about that? And then I said, P.S. Love the book. What do you think about getting 1% better? Because I think self-assessing, you have to reevaluate yourself to get 1% better constantly.
Yeah.
And it's not always going to be butterflies and rainbows. And our logo shows that it's like the stock market. But I still think you're getting better even though you're not seeing it. That's where I got mad about it. Yeah. Mad's the word.
Yeah, which is interesting. I just love that people can get frustrated through words.
Hey man, 1% better is like my motto.
I know.
So I live my life by. It's literally on my business.
No, because it's through passion that like you get frustrated, or like emotion shows is like through passion, which is awesome. And that, which is how we live life, is through emotions. I mean, I showed 3 bullet points. I mean, 1% better no matter what. Progress is messy, and then defining progress. Yeah, kind of like you said. Like I think if you push like again, like has to continuously be your goal. Like if you don't want to be stagnant, if you want to get better, if you want to have goals, and that like being 1% better, and like trying to like every day is like a fight to get better, and that like every day like you're going and like into a war zone with yourself and like your environment and other people. So yeah, getting 1% better is it's a war zone out there, and like that means it's just it is messy because again like everything you do is messy. Like again like it just goes back into life. Like life is messy. You can't like no matter how much like you think like you can program your life into being a picture perfect thing. The moment you step out of your house, something could completely go wrong and derail you. Like no matter what, like something will always deter you from going picture perfect. But so that's why I like the progress is messy because.
But if you overcome those, you're still getting better.
Absolutely. I think like the first time you do something isn't like there's beginner's luck, but isn't ever perfect. And that like saying like kind of like I like the example you gave with having a tough conversation. The first time you ever do that, and that is challenging. Whether that be with your boss, whether that be with a coworker, whether that be with a subordinate. It's messy because you never done it before. It's like riding a bike. If you don't train wheels, you never. Like,
sometimes it's hard with training wheels.
Yeah, scary. So it's messy, it's hard. But the more you do it, the more repetitions you put into it, the more you give effort to it, the more try, the more dedication, the more thoughts you put into it, the easier it gets, the more you progress at it, and then through that you're defining your progress.
Yeah, I would also say
therefore you're also defining your 1%.
I do agree with you. And maybe the 1% is more of a motive or a way of life.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because my whole argument is it doesn't need to show up, right? So there's some days where you're depositing in the bank, right? Every day you're going to work out. You said it's hard to have the conversation. If you just get up, walk into your boss's office, and have a light conversation, that might be 1% better for you.
Absolutely.
Right? Because everybody's a little different. You do it 1,000 times. Now it's like, okay, I need to get something out of this conversation, you know? Yeah. So that's you getting 1% better. But all of it, I don't know. That was a fridge for all you guys. We don't know what's wrong with it. Anyways, we got furniture, can't get fridge, sorry. But the other thing is, in the stock market, when is usually the biggest gain? When in the stock market is usually the biggest gain?
After the biggest drop.
After the biggest drop, right? Look at COVID. Look at the Great Depression. Look at the years after the Great Depression, the S&P, and look at COVID, the 2 years after S&P. Or COVID, 2 years, S&P after 2 years of COVID. Yeah. 2 largest gains ever. Even crashed 2008. So usually when your body's degraded or you mess up, we'll say, you might not have got 1% better that day, but then maybe the next day you got 3% better. You know what I mean? So it's about compounding the interest of your habits, and if you mess up, you take 3 steps back, because life is, like you said, it's messy. It's a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. But I think you can still get better. Some days you're getting pennies better in the bank. Other days you're losing money. And sometimes that interest you just deposit goes all the way up. So I do agree that it's like the stock market, but I still think you can get better every day. Maybe it's not the same thing every day. It's like the thing I took 3 steps back in that day. Maybe I had to take 3 steps back in that so that my family could do something better and I could grow with my family rather than work out that day. Yeah. So I think it's hard to in one thing. I know it's talking about one specific thing, but
because I think like that example right there is like I took like what you say. I took 3 steps back to do something with my family. Like that's such like a linear thing in life. It's not like linear. And that, like who says like you took steps back because you didn't work out for one day or like 1 week?
And I think that's the problem with the compound interest is maybe I didn't know. I never thought about compound interest being 1% better. I think of it as just not showing up. So maybe it's just, again, it's a motive or how you look at it type of deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also think of he's talking about one specific thing. I'm talking about the overall grand scheme of life or a purpose, because we're all trying to get to a purpose in life.
Yeah.
It's just a really good debate on how you can see it, I feel like.
And because again, like how do you, like, everyone's different, so everyone defines their 1% differently.
Yeah, and that's why I said you got to self-assess on it.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's I 100% agree, and that's why, like, again, like, it's more just like a way of life than it is like defining or like understanding, like, oh, I got 1% better in this, because at the end of the day, like, you don't, kind of like you said, like, you don't really see, like, you don't see yourself like growing in conversations every day, but like 3 months later you look back and like, after having a tough conversation about it, that was smooth.
And that's what
like,
I feel.
That's good.
That's how I feel. Like this whole year, in terms of January to now, there's been a lot of change in my life, and I feel like on the day to day, it's like, oh, am I doing enough? I should be doing more. And you look back, and it's like, whoa, like I've done a lot this year. So it's exciting to see that. Another thing to think about with the whole 1% better thing is when you're reassessing it and you're thinking about what that 1% better is for you.
Yeah.
When you're looking at so on Tuesday you talked about like talking to yourself negatively or positively.
Yeah.
You can really see 1% growth in that area when you're looking back as well. Because if you're talking to yourself positively, there's going to likely be changes versus negatively changes the opposite way. So you're going to see the stock market either going up or down more often. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing to think about as well.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I just thought it was a good debate.
I just lost a good thought too. Talking about like other people. So like one thing I realized in my life is like especially in my job, like I struggle with like incompetency and that, and so I think like when it comes to like just doing like my job, like competency comes a lot with it, and like just understanding like basic human traits or human characteristics, and that, so to me, like doing the job for 3 years and that isn't hard, but then sometimes like I look at other people that aren't in the same place as me, and we're like, okay, why? Like then I get frustrated at them, then to turn and get frustrated myself, like, why are you not here? Why are you not better? Like, why are we doing things like this? Like when we already know, like, you're not day one, or even like sometimes like a few weeks in, like a month or two in, like staff, and I'll be like, why are you making these decisions? Like, and so then in turn, like I always have to like reassess myself, like it's not on me to determine their growth and how they grow.
You also got to put yourself in their shoes, probably too.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think like that opens up my eyes a little bit. And this is like something I like really have noticed. Like I got really frustrated probably like 2 weeks ago. Like, I never cuss at them, but like I always like, I don't know, talk to myself or like saying stupid things underneath my breath or something like that. I've caught myself a lot saying stupid stuff underneath my breath, which never needs to be said. And then I was like, why put those negative vibes out in the world when we like there was no need for me to say that, because the growth wasn't like, just because they're not there don't mean they won't be there.
Yeah, it takes time. Just like getting 1% better.
Absolutely.
Might take a lot of time.
Absolutely.
1%'s a lot, really.
And just like different people get better at different rates. Like people learn how to drive faster than others.
And you know
people
what?
learn how to like ride a bike faster than others.
You know what? And just talking in general, how things take time. Think about the example he gave. Let's say you have compound interest. So I started a savings account when I was, 7. We went into dad gave us $50. We took it in the bank, and then they let you do like the penny grabber. You grab all the pennies and put it in a cup. My interest, let's say I'm getting 0.02 interest each year, right?
Yeah.
So to get to $100, that takes forever if you don't put money in.
Yeah.
All my interest mainly comes from me grabbing it in one handful every year when I go in the bank. I'm serious. So think about how hard success is.
Right.
They say success doesn't happen until you get to 40 in Napoleon's Hill, Think and Grow Rich or whatever, because you have to go through those life experiences. Then think about the stock market. If the stock market went up 1% every day, you would have 100% growth,
right,
year over year.
Wouldn't that be what, 365%?
Well, you get 100% in 100 days, so yeah, you get 365% in a year. I mean, you
We
do that.
retired early.
You do that for 10 straight years.
We retired.
I
early.
mean, Tesla, Bitcoin, Amazon, all those companies. Amazon was here in the 90s.
You see, I know we're going overboard, but there's this meme coin for cryptocurrencies called Pepe. I don't know if you saw anything on this. It's been the big trend the last few days, but it shot up, and it's probably like a week ago, 2 weeks ago now. But if you put $250 into it, 4 or 5 days later, is worth 1.2 million.
See, is that sustainable though?
No, absolutely not.
It's too good to be true.
That's more intense and consistent. But I was like, just think like the wildness of just like being like a normal kid, like being like a normal like 18-year-old, just like throwing money at like just like something funny, and then like next day like you're a millionaire.
That would be crazy.
I don't know. I was mad because I was like, I'm like 4 days late, and I'm always one to like throw money at like that type of stuff.
I'm not, because it's too good to be true. Success takes time, man. It takes time.
Absolutely, but
that's how you make it everlasting, fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
Although making $1 million is pretty cool too.
Right. I was mad.
Anyways, we'll catch you guys next week on another episode talking about longevity of success.
See you later. Love you. Bye.